Guys ready to go? Might as well, right? Start up. Okay. Can I have your attention, please? And welcome to the Lowell Planning Board, Monday, May 4th, 2009. The first matter on the agenda this evening is the minutes from the April 23rd, 2009 agenda. Any of the board members have a chance to look them over and have any corrections or any comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Matters, motion's made.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Those minutes are hereby approved. Moving along, we have no public hearing scheduled tonight, and we do have one matter on our agenda for old business, and that is 1141 Bridge Street. This is a proposed plan amendment. The board will review proposed modifications made to the approved site plan at the address located above. The applicant is requesting the following modifications to be approved as a minor change to the approved plan: reduction in the total square footage of the commercial building, alterations of the building footprint, and reduction of the total number of parking spaces. May we hear the case from the applicant, please?
And Mr. Chairman, before we begin, I'm going to be recusing myself from the deliberation and vote on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. If you could just go to the microphone and introduce yourself first, or pick up one of those microphones. They always have it easier here, so people at home can hear you as well. You can usually use one of those there. The green light will indicate
Thank you.
when the light is on, that means it is amplifying. Just introduce yourself for the record, please, if you would, sir.
Sure. My name is Hushman Afshar from Homburg and Howe, and I'm representing Mr. Ming and his wife for this minor amendment to the previously approved site plan located at 1141 Bridge Street in Lowell. As it was earlier mentioned, it seems during the design process there was some sort of miscommunication, and Mr. Ming did not realize that the proposed building was almost over 6,000 square foot, and the footprint of the building was not exactly what he had in mind. So what he's requesting through this amendment is what is shown on this plan in red line. We are proposing to reduce the building from 1.5 story to 1 story only, and reduce from over 6,000 square foot to 5,000 square foot. These changes and the overall site layout is as proposed, the parkings here and here, and these proposed changes does not affect by any means the drainage calculations, proposed utilities, and any other proposed features at this site. But it does enhance and increase actually the green area, the pervious areas. Before we had 5 feet here as setback between the parking and property line at the southerly property line. Now it is over 6 feet, almost 6.6 feet. And here we had 10 feet only from parking to the property line, but right now we have 17 feet, over 17 and a half feet in this corner here. And none of the other setback dimensions, of course, have changed. With that, if there is any questions, otherwise we would like to request for this.
Could you just comment a little bit more on the red to your far left corner?
I'm sorry, here?
Yeah, I see you have the two plans, but could you just go over the modifications on that one?
It's the same thing. This was requested by the city engineer at that time to show how we are going to do construction management and dewatering during construction process. Okay. Otherwise, there is no difference between proposed layout between these two.
Okay.
It's exactly the same thing.
And what's your difference of parking spaces?
The parking spaces, before we had 21, including the loading area, Now we have 18, including the loading area. And the retail, these 5 units will be mainly for the purpose of retail and service use. And at the rate of 900 square foot per space, we have calculated 17 and one loading area 18. There is no intention of providing a takeout or a restaurant or bar and those kind of businesses that would require more parking. We have a note to that effect actually on the plan.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Any of the board members have any questions? Mr. Gentleman?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just to clarify, the footprint of your building is getting smaller or getting bigger?
The footprint of the building is getting bigger.
getting
However,
bigger.
total square footage is reducing by over 1,000 square foot.
Okay. And the parking is not decreasing at all, though? Or is it? Is the number of parking spaces changing?
The number of parking spaces changing.
Okay.
But of course, the dimensional requirements for the spaces would remain the same.
Okay, so we're going from how many parking spaces?
From 21 to 18,
21 to 18.
including loading area.
Okay. And you said it's how many square feet?
Right, it's 5,000, about 5,000. The intention is to give at least, about 1,000 square foot per unit. And that was not fulfilled, to be unknown to the applicant before.
Okay, thank you.
Any other board members have any questions this time?
I have, the number of units is remaining the same?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay,
5 units as before.
5 units as before.
Yes.
Oh, I
Okay. Mr. Fischett, any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have any at this time, although the only thing is I can remember seeing the architectural renderings of what the building was going to look like, and it was actually quite attractive, if I can recall, and I think obviously going from 1.5 to 1 story is going to change that quite a bit. And I know this is site plan, but I know what was presented to us, and I believe there was going to be a frontage or entrance on Bridge Street, at least to create that appearance, so that even though the building is sideways. Do you have any architectural renderings as to the changes that you're proposing? Because obviously aesthetically, that's going to affect the building.
Architectural rendering will be more, it will be, I cannot say exactly and I cannot say more or less,
Sure.
but it will be the same, except the dormers which are providing the additional square footage upstairs
Right.
will not be there any longer.
But okay.
And the frontage on the bridge street would be exactly the same.
Same.
You will have an access through here, and you will have an access, the walkway will continue up to the right of way, which is the property line back of sidewalk. It won't change.
Right.
That frontage would remain the
Because
same.
that was very important because of this particular site and going from a traditional part of the neighborhood to the retail area where it becomes more of a drive-up looking retail area, but it creates that transition. Certainly the dormers were much more visually pleasing, but I understand this is a site plan review.
We may end up probably providing on the top, either a false dormers or those traditional New England towers with the lights on the top, polycolonial style.
A cupola on the,
But
Yeah.
the overall architectural view will not change. I'm just seeing if I have any. But like I said, we will probably provide some This general view will remain the same, but it won't be a floor for use area upstairs any longer. But we will maintain same kind of gable and
So that,
same kind of
that design is basically what you're still looking to stay with, right?
generally
Yeah.
speaking, yes. Yes.
Because this is a crucial site in the transition from going from the traditional neighborhood to that regional retail. And, you know, again, we all were very pleased with what was being presented as far as the architectural renderings and how this was going to fit on the site. So I just, you know, I would caution that there's, I know the neighborhood group where Fairfax supported it in large part because of what was being presented and how it was going to look on the site. So I just would pass that on to you because that's very,
Sure.
very important.
Sure, we understand that actually. Yeah, Aaron has expressed enough on that.
I have what is the difference in the height between your original design and the proposal you presented this evening?
The height of the building?
Yeah. I mean, if you're eliminating a story, there's gonna be a significant difference, doesn't it?
The height of the building as it was proposed before was 26 feet. And I guess, of course, that was from first floor, all the way to the ridge line. I think we may end up reducing it by, we don't have any elevation view yet, but I think we might be reducing it by about maybe about 5 feet.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's still over 20 feet.
Yes, it will be over 20 feet. But then again, if you put if you put one of those traditional colonial towers which lights up at night, the highest point might be again up to 26 feet.
So you haven't designed this yet, really, you just,
The elevation view,
Yeah,
no,
okay,
is not designed yet, no.
Anything else, Mitch?
that's all I have.
Aaron, do you have any, Division of Planning and Development, have any comments on this matter? I know your department had a chance to look it over.
Yeah, I just had a couple, and I think you've addressed some of them. Clearly, would like to see an elevation to see how the change is transitioning from a 1.5 to 1-story building. If you know, the most important part I would say is what's up against Bridge Street. If that's generally staying the same, that would be good. But it would still be great to see what the overall building's going to look like. One of the questions I had is where's the dumpster going to go? It seems like on your red line drawing that where the dumpster was proposed is in a landscaped area. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, the dumpster area, just because of the dumpster area, we were creating a good amount of impervious area, paved area. What we are thinking, we'll put the dumpster area right here, because we have plenty of room here, right here at the corner of parking in the back. We'll have a pad, and so we can just, back into it and head out.
Okay, so that would be good to see, I think, on a plan set, when you submit a full plan set, just how that's going to be integrated into the parking lot. The only other question is you probably took this into account, but in the plans that were approved, the catch basin that was in the south, I guess, eastern portion of the site that went into the actual infiltration, is that staying the same? It looks like in the red line, again, it's very close. The curbing in the new red line looks like it's very close where the catch basin was going to be. Is that going to be altered at all?
The infiltration system itself will not really change. It was in this area, and it will
Right.
remain in that area. That doesn't change. The catch basin probably will move slightly because as a result of moving the curbs and curbing, we have to slightly redo the grading. So the catch basin, it will be in that general area, but it will move slightly.
Be shifted a little
to
bit.
fit the grade, exactly.
Those were just kind of the general comments I had. It seems like, it could be a positive improvement with actually having more of a building presence on Bridge Street, and less parking. The only other thing would be, it would be interesting to see what the landscape's gonna be now that you've changed it a little bit. There was a fair amount of landscaping on the southern portion of it.
None of that will change.
Okay.
Actually, since we have, that will not change. Actually, we had before, the proposed fence will remain as it is, as we had before on the southerly property line, this fence here, when we had zone change. And also, like I said, we had 5 feet setback from southerly property line to the edge of the parking. With this revised plan, we have more than that. We have 6.6 feet, or just about that. So we have more room for greenery, ground cover or.
So the two trees on that are shown on the original plan, so at the southern corner of the curb cut, there's a tree there, that would just be moved over a little bit to fit into that 6-foot.
Correct, yes.
Same with further east.
Yes, and since we have more area here now, more lawn area, pervious area, we can probably move this one to here, or probably add one more even.
Okay. And it seems like across the way from there in that triangle, there's enough room for another landscape island. So if you go north from where the old loading dock was, there's a little triangle space right there right there.
Right, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there's more area for, again, for landscaping and snow storage.
I guess it's small, those are small, I think, pretty simple comments to deal with. It just would be good, I think, to see it in a full plan set and see how the drainage is going to be impacted, even if it's just, topography is going to be altered a little bit to allow for the drainage and minor changes in movements of the catch basin. That's just about it.
We need construction documents anyway.
Right.
I just have 2 more questions. One, you indicated that you had 21 parking spaces and now you're going down to 18. Can you show me on the plan the 3 parking spaces that you are eliminating?
One of them is in front right here, because we are creating this green island.
Okay.
And there were 2 parallel parkings here, which are not there anymore.
Okay. And last time your plan came in, one of our conditional approvals was to work with Division of Planning and Development for the 2 handicap spaces in the front of the building by the entranceway, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
They will remain as it is.
Okay,
They will
because I know we
accept,
had
of
some
course.
question on the numbers on those, and I know we left it to work with DPD with that. So that, do you have any comment on that, or that ain't been addressed, or you're still in the works with that, or we haven't got final submittal?
They actually did address that. They were able to accommodate the 2
Okay, good.
handicap parking spaces without reducing the total number. Just squeezed a foot here and here just to make enough for 2 van accessible parking spaces.
Because we're always concerned about
That's
the
a yes.
handicap parking, up
Sure.
front, in front of the building, obviously, and I know we spent some time on that at the last meeting,
Sure,
so,
yes.
okay.
No, they meet the exact dimensional requirements, and they will be exactly where they were before, except, of course, they'll be shifted back towards the south, southerly direction.
Okay, thank you, sir. I have no further comments. Any further comments from any board members? Yes, Mr. Jenner.
Aaron, I was curious if the city has reviewed the parking layout at all. I'm a little concerned with the reduction in parking spaces because it's fine, it meets the requirements if it's retail and service, but if you have a takeout restaurant or any type of restaurant in there, you're going to be stressing the parking requirements very quickly. And when you have 5 units, I'm a little concerned that you might not have some type of a restaurant in there and stress the parking. And furthermore, since the parking area has been reduced a little bit, the way the layout is, I'm concerned that it might be difficult to get in and out. So back to my question, Aaron, has the city reviewed that layout at all to make sure there's adequate space for people to get in and turn around and all of that?
No, we haven't done a full kind of assessment of the site layout, in terms of adequate space for circulation into and out of the site. Really just, at this point, wanted to see if this would be something that would be a minor change or a material substantial change. Whichever way the board decides, I think we still need to take a look at a full set of documents in the planning department to look at things like that, to make sure that there's enough room for the dumpster where Hushi's proposing it. Still look at the elevation of the building. Still need to get a better look at the landscaping as well as the drainage. I know you're proposing it to stay the same, but I'd still like to have the city engineer take a look at it just to make sure everything looks good. So we haven't really done a very close analysis of how the site works. Just wanted to get a general idea of what the proposed changes were at this point.
Right. So personally, I think the changes are probably okay, but I wouldn't want to, it's because the parking area has been compressed a little bit. I'm concerned that by saying it's a minor change would eliminate some review that might otherwise get done. Go ahead.
I'm not quite sure what is meant by parking area being squeezed, because the dimension of the parking spaces have not changed. The dimension of the aisle for traffic movements have not changed.
Okay.
According per the requirements. And those are exactly the same as they were. They have not changed.
So I was assuming, it looks like your red line shows a different dimension on the parking area, but I was assuming that since the footprint of the building grew,
Yeah.
that you compressed the parking area. Is that not true?
Well, we took the two parallel parking
I see.
out.
Uh-huh.
You see, so that the
You still have
parking
two
is-
parallel parking over there, though, right?
we do not have.
Or
no.
you do not?
No.
Those are gone now?
Yeah.
Oh, those are okay.
The spaces for the parallel parking is not used, obviously, for traffic movement. So the aisles, which is provided for traffic movement of the vehicles, remain exactly as they were per the requirements.
I see. Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further questions on the board?
I just have a comment. I don't think really we have enough information, documentation to make a judgment as to whether these are minor changes, particularly because you don't have any architectural renderings of the building to see what the difference is between what was proposed and what you're proposing here this evening. I would prefer to see a full set of documents before making a judgment on I just don't think we have enough.
The only questions I had by looking at the three, I think 4 things popped up in my mind. Was one, that the landscaping plan, I think, would still have to be reviewed and approved by Division of Planning and Development. I'd also think that the architectural plan would fall into that line, and so would the parking plan. And also have the new, and have the drainage be looked after by the city engineer. I think those are the 4 concerns we all touched on. So I think that those, if, first of all, we'd have to vote tonight, do we think it's a minor change? If not, then we'll come back for a full public hearing. If we do believe it's a minor change, then we could vote that, or we could just say it's a substantial change and put it for new public hearing. If we agree it's a minor change, we could either bring it back for a new set of plans, as you requested, or we could do a conditional approval that the landscape, architectural, parking plan, the drainage plan come back to us to be approved by DPD, and even have copies of those plans submitted to the board members, whatever the boards feel is appropriate. So I think, why don't we go first if we feel it's a minor change or not? I think that's the first action of business we have to take. Because if not, if it's a substantial change, then we have to go for a public hearing, and I think at that time we'd get the whole new set of plans, and we have to start a whole new public hearing on the matter. What does the board feel? Do you think, I think most people in their comments mentioned they thought it was basically a minor change. Does anybody want to add to the question of the minor change? Board members feel it's minor, substantial?
Well, I mean, based on Mr. Lockhart's comments and the changes in the parking and the architectural issues and the focus on this site, concern about the neighborhood group for this site, I mean, I'd be inclined to think that, to say that this is substantial and require another public hearing.
Any other board members?
I agree with that.
Okay. Mr. Fiat, you have any comments on that, or?
Yeah, I have a tendency to think, Mr. Chairman, only because we had focused on this as a key site, and I know there was support for what was presented, and I think as far as how the building is going to sit on the site, and given the changes in the parking, along with the landscaping, which we made very clear on the Demoulas site that, the landscaping was very important, and I certainly think it would be important to view, to get a full set of plans, and based on that, I would agree that, with Mr. Genren's assessment on that.
Okay. So the question is whether substantial change, board members indicate they feel it is. At this point in time, does somebody want to make a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Motion is made by Mr. Lockhart, a substantial change. Do I hear a second on the matter?
Second.
Okay. Motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Chair votes yes with one abstention. Basically, sir, I think when you come back, the main things we want to look at is have the plans ready for what your final landscaping plan is going to be, your final architectural plan, your parking plan, and your drainage. I think what I heard tonight and through the other board members, those are some of the main issues that we'd be looking at. I think the concept, and as indicated by other board members, that the neighbors were in support of it. We did vote in support of it in the last time, but I think some of the question is what it's going to look like compared to what we saw before is some of the questions that we have. So hopefully if we have those plans before us next time, they'll answer a lot of questions that I believe a lot of us have this evening. So what will happen is we'll have to come in for another public hearing on the matter.
We will have no problem with submitting those documents,
Okay.
but and also in response to the question of a takeout or restaurant, you can clearly say in your approval conditioned upon not having a restaurant and not having a takeout. But why do we have to go before another public hearing again?
Because that was the determination of the board, sir. When you come in, you're asked, and majority of the board has spoken and said they feel that this is a substantial change in that neighborhood due to the fact, first of all, the size of your building was 6,000 square feet and it's going to 5,000. So if you do it percentage-wise, that's a good size percentage change. Your parking spaces have went from 21 down to 18. There's been concern by board members who addressed those issues. They said they have concern on that. A couple of other board members want to see what the total architectural plans are, because we approved your architectural plans last time, and now you're saying, well, we might put this on top, we might drop this down here. So when we're as board members and someone says, what'd you approve? We said, I don't know. It might be this or it might be that. And the buck stops here. So we either approve it or deny it. We've approved it last time. We just think some of the changes should be brought to our attention with a full set of plans, so we know exactly what's going in there. You've had overwhelming support by the neighborhood in the past. The board members want to see exactly what your changes are, and you talked about the drainage, you talked about the parking, talked about the architectural, and the landscaping. If you, one of each one of them on itself might not be, but I think the combination of everything is what the board feels is a substantial change. So we'll either come back with a public hearing if you like. If not, the options are up to you. Okay? Any further discussion? Okay. Hearing none, that matter is concluded. Thank you. Moving along on the agenda, we do have other businesses, notice from budding towns. I believe we received a copy of all those. Any board members have any comments on notices of budding towns? If not, I'm entertaining a motion to place on file. That is, motion's made.
Second.
And second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We do have matters that were continued from the Zoning Board of Appeals. On their agenda, there has been continuances in old businesses, which we have already made recommendations on. Therefore, tonight, there was 3 matters before us. One is for a new sign on the Jiffy Lube on 645 Rogers Street in the regional retail zone. And also, Jiffy Lube's looking for a new sign on 1717 Middlesex Street, Unit 9, for a sign from Jiffy Lube. Board members have any recommendations on the sign matters for the, from Jiffy Lube?
I'll make the standard motion of referring that to our our chief design planner in charge of signs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman made a motion on both of those matters to go forward before our sign planner. Do I have a second on those matters? Both matters have been seconded, and all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes. We do have one matter on for special permit. This is Philip Rice doing business as Castle Hills Adult Day Health Center. The property is located at 225 7th Street, units 31 and 32, and this is light industrial. This is to allow for the operation of a licensed establishment for the care of the sick, aged, disabled, or convalescent persons, otherwise known as an adult daycare facility in the light industrial zone district in accordance with the table of uses, section 12.3J of the zoning ordinance. This may look familiar because we did have this approved under our site plan, so now it looks like it's going before the zoning board of appeal for a special permit for this matter. Any board members have any comments on that matter?
I think it's certainly an appropriate use, and looking through the narrative briefly, the units were previously used for a retail, supply, sports shop, a church, et cetera, without any prior complaints, at least according to the narrative. The adult daycare facility has been in business in Chelmsford for 12 years and is a going concern. The food that they're going to be serving is all off-site prepared food. There won't be any cooking facilities on site. There's no overnight stays. It's just strictly a daycare, so I personally wouldn't have any problems with it, special permit at this site for that use.
Okay. Any of the board members have any comments?
I don't think it has a very good fit to the area up there. It's, you had contractors, electrical contractors, spray painting companies, heating, ventilating, and air conditioning companies, a glass company, a trophy company, right in the immediate area, and personally, I just don't think it fits the light industrial space.
There's sort of a lot of mixed uses up there now, but I look at that zone, I think licensed childcare is permitted as of right.
Yeah.
I'm not certain about, adult daycare, but certainly it's no more intrusive. It's just spending the day there, basically.
I know we approved
There
this,
is childcare?
well, we approved this on the site plan
Yeah,
already.
the site plan.
Yeah, we looked at the site plan and we approved the site plan, so I think they just need the special permit.
Yeah, I just think it's a unique site where, I mean, I think there's a hair cutting place in there, and
Time we
there
saw this
was
a
as
while
well.
ago now.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like, I thought we would've seen it sooner.
So I agree, yes, there
I
has
looked
been
at it, I
some
said, oh,
time.
yeah. And then I realized by reading it again in the packet, this is the one and not the same one. When I saw the special permit, I said, 'cause I remember we had concerns of what the actual use on the site was, because that description could be kind of broad.
Right.
And I know we've had other issues and other sites in the city that were kind of broad that we had to fine tune and find out exactly what was going in there. So I don't have a problem with it due to the fact that we approved the site plan, so, but whatever the board members. Mr. Claremont, do you want to put your statement in form of a motion?
I'll make the motion to recommend approval.
I'd second that, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Anybody in opposition? Hearing none. Okay. Moving along on the further comments from the planning board members. Before I get to that, let me just go with any general correspondence from Division of Planning and Development. And any further comments you want to share with the board at this point in time? I know we received a few things by way of email in regards to workshop and other things going along.
Yeah, the city building workshops, the first round has been completed. We had our final meeting last Thursday. So we don't have a calendar set up for the next series, but it should be starting probably, I think, the week beginning May 18th and spread over those following 2 weeks. We really delved into some general concerns and opportunities in each neighborhood. The next step is to bring it down to more concrete level and come up with specific priorities and specific opportunities, and probably sit around a map and kind of draw them out. So it might be a really interesting opportunity to really dig into each of the neighborhoods. The next meeting, the 18th, we had a submission for site plan review for a 90-foot cell tower.
Right.
Yeah.
I need to coordinate with the applicant. I'm not sure if they got the notices out in the mail by
Okay.
today. They were supposed to have it in my office by Friday. I haven't seen them, so that may or may not, I'm guessing actually may not be. on
Have the
18th.
notices on proper?
Right.
So you can let us know that by correspondence,
Yep.
by email, okay?
And that's it for now.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, just, I will not be available for our May 18th meeting, so, again, any public hearings.
Okay.
Just-
Any other comments from any of the board members? Hearing none, entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion made and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Good night, and thank you, everyone.